I am Thomas Mccoy. I'm the Director of Student Disability Services. I cover all the campuses, but I am mostly am housed in Gainesville, and every once in a while I'll go up to Blue Ridge and cover that area. So if anybody's in those two areas, if you see me, just catch me if you got anything you need to talk about. Mary, do you mind going next?
Sure. My name is Mary Hurlbut. I am a coordinator, and I am located in the Dahlonega Campus.
Hey, I'm Dr. Candace Hill-Harris. And sorry, y'all. And I am the Assistant Director for Student Disability Services on the Dahlonega Campus.
Multitasking there, aren't we? All right. Tracy, would you mind going next?
I am Tracy Hurd. I am the coordinator for Student Disability Services on the Cumming campus.
Very good.
I'm sure they didn't hydrate him or whatever.
All right. Rachel?
I'm sure he's not sick, but somebody's got to do.
So I am Rachel Pinder. I'm the Assistant Director of Disability Services in Oconee, as well as the online campus.
All right. Betty, do I see you on there?
I'm part-time staff and I support Tracy here at the Cumming UNG campus.
All right. And you're a testing facilitator,
Yes,
right?
facilitator as well, yes.
Okay. And so Kayla, I see you on there.
I'm Kayla Hyder. I'm the test facilitator for the Oconee campus.
Now your testing facilitators are the ones that will be handling exams and stuff and working with you on that. So keep these people's image in mind when you're talking about working with your exams and with your professors in that regard. Did I miss anybody? Norma, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Norma Smith, and I'm on the Dahlonega campus, and I do the test facilitator here. And I will be working with you, or if you're a student, I will be working with you after you are registered with the department.
And Darla?
Hi, I'm Darla Rush, and I'm the test facilitator at the Gainesville campus.
And so these are your four main test facilitators, and keep them in mind. So let me go ahead and get started on my part. And we will get it going. Start from the beginning. Can everybody see my little slideshow there? There's a little bit of trivia you probably didn't want to know about, but there you go, about Nigel, your favorite little bluebird, or Nighthawk, excuse me, Nighthawk. So let me go ahead and say welcome to the summer 2021 first year foundation. I wanted to take a moment and give you a welcome and discuss the importance of using your accommodations throughout the throughout your academic career. We'll be sharing a lot of information today with you, so please pay close attention. You may want to take notes if you're able to do that. If you got pencil and paper or notepad or something like that, because there's some things we'll cover today that you may not think would be important now, but later on may be important to you. And so you want to be able to reference that back to that and what we've said today. So let's go to our next slide. Ooh. Ooh. There you go. So what do we have planned today? I want to talk to you a little bit more about accommodations and the importance of using your accommodations. You went through probably an evaluation. You went through a lot of work and batteries and stuff to have your accommodation set up. And I strongly suggest that you use them. They're there for a reason, so it makes a big difference for you. Dr. Hill-Harris is going to talk to you a little bit about the difference between high school and college. There's a big difference. If you're a freshman and you've never attended college before, this is a transition, albeit it may be a good transition. It's a transition nonetheless, and that alone causes a little bit more anxiety and stress in some cases. And to help you or help remind you that this isn't the 13th grade. There's some major changes, so you need to be prepared for those. We'll talk a little bit more about provisional versus permanent accommodations. There's a big difference there. We'll talk a little bit more about accommodation notification form. Why is that important? Why is that important for you to give that to your professor and follow up with your professor on what those accommodations are you're entitled to receive? That makes a big difference. And especially, you'll see that especially in the middle or the end of the semester. Tracy's going to talk to us a little bit about Title IX and temporary accommodations. Every once in a while, we get those broken arms, broken legs, concussions, and stuff like that. And those temporary accommodations can make a difference in that. The worst cases I've seen in concussions and injuries is through rugby. When I was working up in Dahlonega, believe it or not, that seems to be the worst thing. Scheduling examinations, that's very important. If you have any accommodations to do with anything with the examinations itself, quiet rooms, stuff like that, scheduling exams are really important, and please make note that you follow up on that. And knowing your resources. After 3 o'clock, I believe, and Rachel, correct me if I'm wrong, about 3:15, we have some guests coming on. I believe we have student involvement, career services, money management. That's really important. The students do not take advantage of that enough. So please pay attention to that. Academic coaching, tutoring services. That's another thing that students don't use quite enough. That can make a big difference in your GPA. And finally, counseling services. So about 2 hours in total, 2 totals an hour. Feel free to follow up with us. We'll have a time in the middle there for you to ask any questions if you have any. And so we can do that. So let's go on to the next part here. All right. So most students that use their accommodations effectively tend to do at least 1 letter grade better than if they didn't. So usually a student makes a C or something like that, average. Once they get into getting their accommodations, we usually see them doing about a B average. That's a big difference in their grades, and it can make a big difference in doing well. And it's important to remember to use all your accommodations effectively from the beginning. The habits that you make during the 2 or 3 first weeks of your semester will dictate how successful you are for the rest of the semester. And that's equally or more important in the summer semester. Just remember, because the summer semester is really concentrated in a shorter period of time. So the habits that you pick up now will make a big difference in the long run. Later, maybe a couple of semesters later on, if you feel like you don't need all the accommodations in certain places, then that's a possibility. But I want to really encourage you to remember that it's much easier to maintain a good GPA from the beginning by using all your accommodations than doing poorly and having to pull up your GPA later. That's a big difference. Another fact I would like to strongly encourage is the idea is if you're having problems with your accommodations, or if a professor is not providing accommodations appropriately, or if something is off, immediately contact our office. And this can make a difference between a successful and a very complicated semester. So those faces that you saw earlier, keep those in mind. If there's a problem, come see us and we can work with you. We can advocate for you if necessary, and we can help problem solve. All right. The next point is that when you meet with the staff regarding your accommodation notifications, pay close attention to what they're saying. Don't hesitate to ask questions or ask for clarification if needed. Knowing what your rights are and how to use your accommodations and how they work are keys to your success. And finally, I would like to inform everybody to keep an eye on the future changes in the department. We are advocating for changing the name from Student Disability Services to Student Accessibility Services. See, I'm having problems saying that. I got to practice that more. Starting July 1st. This is a response to the students, faculty, and staff, and the community's request for a change and something more proactive, and not so much with so much stigma involved in that. Let's see here. Boop, boop, boop. So my final summary of my little section here, please remember to use all your accommodations. It could be the difference between being successful and not being so successful. When meeting with staff, going over your accommodation notifications, listen and clarify if you have any questions. Don't hesitate to ask questions. There may be times where you can think of something later on. That's okay. Contact us, email us, whatever. We'll follow up and answer your questions the best we can. And if there is a problem in the semester with the accommodations, please contact the department on your home campus as soon as possible. And don't forget that we are looking at doing a name change starting in July. So you may see that change really quick while you're attending school this semester. But the change should be full force by the time we get into the fall. These ideas, coupled with the use of your other resources, such as tutoring, financial services, etc., will make all the difference in your college career. You've already paid for it. You might as well take full advantage of it and use those services that are available to you. Okie dokie. All right, that will lead us to our next presenter, which will be Mary, I believe.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hopefully, if you are attending Dahlonega, I will be speaking with you and seeing you soon. So I'm going to go over the difference between high school and college. And I'm having trouble getting into advanced. There we go. So in high school, you probably had an IEP, 504 plan, and you had meetings for that. We don't really use those terms here. That is one difference. We just call them accommodations. You might hear AN a lot. So that's just, you know, our shorthand for accommodation notification. It might be an accommodation meeting that you attend, an accommodation letter or an AN letter. And those are what you would provide to your professors so that they know about your accommodations. In high school, attendance is required. And at college, it's kind of up to you. It's your choice whether you go or not. But of course, if you don't go, you're going to fall behind and not do very well. In high school, you know, you're often reminded of deadlines, of things that are coming up. You might be given second chances to turn something in. But in college, you know, you're going to get your syllabus on the first day. It's going to have all the dates when everything's due. That might be the only time you hear of it or see it. So you really need to keep track of that. In high school, you have staff and guidance counselors that really set up your schedule for you. But in college, a lot of that responsibility falls on you. You'll hear about academic advising week once you've kind of gotten through the first semester as a freshman. Well, that's really important to go to. You want to go meet with your advisor early and know exactly what classes you need to take so that when your registration opens up, you already know. That's not the time to try to get a hold of them. You should already know exactly what to sign up for because those classes fill up really quick, like usually like that day. Okay, so in high school, your parents may have been more involved. You know, hopefully you had a voice and helped out a little bit for some of, you know, the, you know, advocating for your accommodations. But parents were pretty involved and were a support for you with talking with teachers. In college, you know, we want to hear from you. We can't have a meeting if you're not there. And, you know, if you want us to speak with your parents, we need your written permission. So you're going to be a lot more involved. Parents can still help out, but it's mostly going to be us building a relationship with you so that you feel comfortable reaching out to us if you need help. In high school, your accommodations are pretty much set up by staff and arranged, but when you get to college, you'll get reminder emails from us. Do you want to use your accommodations? You do have to respond to those. You have to meet with us, sign some forms about our procedures, get your letters, you need to give them to your professors. You're also going to have tasks that you'll have to do throughout the semester to actually use your accommodations. It doesn't happen, without your involvement. And we'll explain that to you. So in high school, you're going to be in, you're in class a lot longer. What is it, from 8 to 3 or so? But you'll see in college, you might have an English class Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 11, and that's it. So it's going to be a lot shorter. The classes aren't going to meet every day. You're going to be doing a lot more work outside of class when you're in college. So in high school, class time is going to be focused a lot on explaining information, making sure you understand, letting you ask questions. In college, they're just going to keep going over new material. So you're going to be studying and reading a lot outside of class to help you with understanding. But don't panic. You can always use a tutoring department to help you. The professors will all have office hours. So you can always ask them some questions then as well. All right. So in high school, teachers remind students about their grades. They might meet with you if you're starting to struggle or your grades slipping. In college, you're going to need to keep track of those and make sure you're doing okay. In high school, parents and teachers are there to guide you, to set priorities. But in college, you're responsible. You're responsible for what you do and what you don't do. So now you're in college. Now what? So these are my tips for you to be successful. So always go to class, because if you don't, you're going to miss a lot. Make sure you communicate with your professor by email, or choose their office hours. Choose the right time. You don't want to speak with them about your accommodations in front of other people. Also, in saying choose the right time, I mean, when you have a problem, you need to ask for help right then, that same day. You can't ask for something 2 weeks later. Oh, by the way, that assignment I missed, can I get help with that? You should be asking the day it's due or the day before, or as early as you can when you realize that you need assistance. And it's really important to get organized. So you're going to get a syllabus for each class that'll have all the test dates, all the deadlines for assignments. You want to put all of that information for every class on one calendar, planner, whatever works for you, and then check it regularly. That way you won't miss anything. You want to take good notes, devote time to studying outside of class. You're going to be doing that more than you're in class. You want to use your accommodations and other campus resources. There's a lot of great ones, and we can refer you to some if needed. And they're also on our website. You want to get to know your academic advisor. You want to meet with them regularly and before registration. Make sure that you also monitor your UNG email for reminders, instructions. It might be from us, it might be from housing or other departments, but a lot of times it's things that are really important and that are time sensitive. And if you miss it and don't act or follow instructions, it might really change things for you in a negative way. So just keep an eye on that. That's really important. And also remember that accommodations don't just kind of come to you. There are things that you're going to need to do regularly, and we'll explain that to you. Make sure you write it down as we're going over how to do that. A big example is if you're getting extra time for tests, you have to watch to see when those tests are coming and schedule to take the test with us at least 4 days in advance. And also, do not panic. Always ask for help right when you realize there's a problem, and know that it's okay to feel overwhelmed. We're here to help you. We want you to reach out to us. Even if it doesn't seem like it's a disability service issue, we can often refer you to resources on campus to get you the help that you need. So that is all of my tips. So we are excited that you're coming, and we are looking forward to meeting you and seeing you here at UNG.
Very good. Thank you, Mary. All right. Dr. Hill Harris, if you would talk to us about provisional versus permanent accommodations.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I have been tasked to talk to you guys about provisional versus permanent accommodations. And again, my name is Dr. Candace Hill-Harris, and I'm the Assistant Director on the Dahlonega Campus. But before I get into the difference between provisional versus permanent accommodations, I want to talk to you about how we actually determine accommodations. So typically, when a student comes in, you will meet with a disability services provider. And at that time, you'll meet and you'll talk about your accommodations that you've used in the past. So maybe the accommodations that you use in K through 12, you'll go through your documentation as well. And at that time, you know, you may even express concerns, ask questions, and then you and the disability services provider will figure out what accommodations are actually appropriate for you. And this is actually called an intake meeting, but it's just an opportunity for you to discuss those things with the DSP, okay? So what is a provisional accommodation? Now, we use provisional accommodations because some students may come in with vague documentation or an IEP or a 504, and they may not necessarily have a lot of the information that the doctor would have on it, or they may not even have the recommendations. But our main goal is to make sure that based on whatever you have, that's why what we always tell students, if you have something, just bring it in so we can see what we can make work, right? So once you bring in that documentation, it may not be enough for the requirements for the Board of Regents or USG, but we want to make sure that you have something, okay? We want to make sure you have some accommodations. And typically we will give you those standard accommodations for about a time limit. And a time limit will usually be up to about a semester's length of time, which will give you enough time to be able to get that required documentation that you may need, okay? Why do we give provisional accommodations? Because sometimes if you've been using accommodations, we don't want to take away all of those supports from you, and we want to make sure you don't have an uphill battle. Our goal isn't to take anything away, but to make sure that we support you in some way, right? And then we determine the provisional accommodations by mostly a standard of time and a half, having a private room or a quiet room to be able to take your exams, audio recorder, and maybe even priority registration. We say typical because it may vary from student to student. And if that documentation, like I said, does not meet the requirements, you may not at that point get everything that you prefer, but we want to make sure that you have some supports, okay? So when it comes to permanent accommodations, it's a little bit different. So say for instance, if you have provisional and we want to work with you to make those accommodations permanent, meaning that from that point you'll have them through the rest of your career here at UMG. Okay, so what we want to do is make sure that you have some sort of appointment, either if it's for a full psychological, a medical appointment, if you have some sort of physical disability, or maybe even a neural evaluation. Sometimes with those specialty areas, it is very difficult to get an appointment. So if we can see that you have an appointment, that you've been working towards your goals, we will extend those accommodations past the semester. Most of the time, students can get the documentation required within that semester, but sometimes with that specialty area, like I said, it is very difficult for some to get appointments. But as long as you work with us, we will definitely work with you. So there are some options, and you may not remember this. So if you have questions after this, I will totally send you the information. But if, say, for instance, the DSP said, well, this documentation isn't enough, you need a full psychological or neural evaluation. Typically, those evaluations will run you about $1,500 to $4,500. And that is a lot of money, and we totally understand that. We do have other options for you. You can work with the RCLD, which is the Regent Center for Learning Disorders, and they're located on the UGA campus in Athens. They actually will give you a full psychological for $500, which is substantially cheaper than using your insurance. And we also have a psychologist that we've been working closely with for the past few years. And it may not be $500, but it's not much more than that, which is still a lot cheaper than what you would pay. And we understand that, $500 isn't chump change. We understand that that is a lot of money as well, but it's so much cheaper than it would be, even if you used your insurance. And then there's other opportunities for, financial support if that is necessary for the student. And your DSP can give you more information on that. When you work with the RCLD, it typically takes about 2 weeks for them to get a decision made for you. And what I mean by that, the Regent Center for Learning Disorders they have a staff of psychologists who will take outside documentation, and then they'll decide if that documentation is going to meet the criteria for the accommodations that you're requesting. And that usually takes about 2 weeks. Now, in order to get a full psych from them, it could be a few months down the line, because they do have a lot of students that are registered to get those full psychs. So we understand that it does take time. And just like I said, we will extend accommodations if necessary. Now, at any point during the process, if we feel like, hey, we haven't heard from that student, we'll definitely follow up with you to see where you are in the process, because this is a lot of information and it may be totally new to you. So we want to make sure wherever you are in that process, maybe we can give you directions to go left, to go right, to contact your insurance company, or to go to the RCLD, whatever the case may be. But we want to make sure that you're not stuck in that process. And if we haven't contacted you, by all means, give us a call. Come by. The mask mandate has been lifted. Please stop by. We want to see faces. But like I said earlier, if there is anything that we can do for you, we have an open door policy. So feel free to stop by so we can help you and support you to meet your academic goals here at UNG. Thank you.
Can y'all see the little cartoon there?
It's showing, Tom.
Yes.
It is showing?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we can see it.
This.
All right. Let me go ahead and kick it in.
Oh, this is just an email. But if you follow the instructions, eventually it will get your accommodation notification memo into your instructor's hands. What's an accommodation notification memo? An accommodation notification memo is a letter intended for your instructor. The letter confirms that you have registered with Student Disability Services and you are eligible for some very specific accommodations. The letter also lists those accommodations so that your instructor can facilitate them. In order to utilize your accommodations, you must provide an accommodation notification memo to your instructor. And once your instructor has received the accommodation notification memo, they must allow you to use your accommodations if you wish to. Cool. So how do I get my accommodation notification memo? The first thing you need to do is let Student Disability Services know you intend to use your accommodations in the upcoming or current semester. You can let Student Disability Services know by replying to this email, or by calling the Disability Service office, or by stopping by while you're on campus. Once Student Disability Services knows you plan to use your accommodations, you will receive another email from a Student Disability Services staff member. This email will confirm that Student Disability Services has received your notification and request that you schedule an accommodation notification meeting with the staff member. Another email. Do I need to reply to that? Yes. You should check your calendar and see when you have 30 minutes of free time during which you can log in for a virtual meeting, usually using Microsoft Teams, a virtual meeting platform available to all University of North Georgia faculty, staff, and students. Giving the Student Disability Services staff member at least 2 30-minute time slots during office hours when you would prefer to attend your accommodation notification meeting. Okay, after I reply with my availability, what happens next? Well, next, you will receive another email. Another email? That's right. The Student Disability Services staff member will choose one of the time slots you provided and send you a confirmation email of the date and time of your accommodation notification meeting. This email will also include several attached documents, including your copy of your accommodation notification memo. This copy is not intended to be shared with your instructor. A document outlining Student Disability Services procedures, and possibly more documents that apply to some of your specific accommodations. It is a good idea to thoroughly read this email and review all the attached documents before the accommodation notification meeting. Then what should I do? Wait for the designated time of your accommodation notification meeting. Please do everything in your power to attend your virtual meeting when the agreed upon time comes. The Student Disability Services staff member will go over all the documents from the previous confirmation email with you. This may take about 30 minutes. During this time, you will also have plenty of opportunities to ask questions. When the meeting is over, you will be asked to reply to your appointment confirmation email, pasting this statement into the body of the email. I understand the information presented during this AN meeting, and I agree to the SDS procedures. This works kind of like a digital signature. Okay, so I email Student Disability Services, letting them know that I understand the information and agree to the procedures. Then they send my accommodation notification memo to my instructor? Not exactly. Once Student Disability Services receives your agreement email, they will send one more email to you. Attached to this email will be the instructor's copy of your accommodation notification memo. The body of the email will include instructions. If you wish to use your accommodations, all you need to do is forward this email to your instructor and CC anyone else listed in the instructions. Once your instructor receives that email, they have received your accommodation notification memo, and you may start using your accommodations in that class. Okay, so that is how we get from one little email in my inbox to an accommodation notification memo in the hands of my instructor. Cool, right? I guess.
All right, Tracy.
Okay. I am Tracy Hurd again. I'm the coordinator on the Cumming campus, and I'm going to talk to you about temporary accommodations and then also temporary accommodations under Title IX. As Thomas mentioned earlier, temporary accommodations can be provided when temporary things come up. If you have a broken leg, a broken arm, if you're going to have surgery, a concussion, things like that, that are temporary conditions that are going to last just for a short period of time. And these temporary accommodations are different than provisional accommodations because they are for temporary conditions and they don't turn into permanent accommodations, excuse me, unless you get documentation that then shows the need for permanent accommodations. So under Title IX, we can also offer those temporary accommodations. So let's talk a little bit about that. So the University of North Georgia, in compliance with Title IX of the Education Amendments, prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in our education programs and activities. This includes pregnancy and any related conditions. So the U.S. Department of Education regulations concerning pregnancy and related conditions states that a recipient or a school can't discriminate against any student or exclude any student from educational programs or activities, which include classes or extracurricular activities, on the basis of a student's pregnancy, childbirth, false pregnancy, termination of pregnancy, or recovery from any of those, unless the student requests to voluntarily participate in a separate portion of the program or activity. So students can receive temporary accommodations through Student Disability Services for these temporary conditions. Pregnant students should be informed of these rights. So for instance, if a student is placed on bed rest during their pregnancy, they are considered disabled under the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, and they would be eligible for temporary accommodations. These temporary accommodations and all temporary accommodations are evaluated on a case-by-case basis. So students need to make sure that they contact the Student Disability Services office on your home campus if you feel that you need any of these temporary accommodations. And as I mentioned previously, students who are pregnant or have related temporary conditions do have certain rights under Title IX. So Title IX requires that a school excuse a student's absences due to pregnancy or related conditions, including the recovery from childbirth, for as long as the student's doctor deems that it's medically necessary. A school may offer the student alternatives to making up the missed work, like retaking a semester or giving a grade of incomplete, so that the student can finish any missed work at the end of the semester or by a set date. But it has to be up to the student to choose how they want to make up that work. And then once a student returns to school, they have to be reinstated to the same status that they held when their leave began. Title IX also requires that a school provide the same special services to a pregnant student that they provide to students with other temporary medical conditions. And when it's necessary to ensure that a pregnant student has access to educational programs, a school has to make adjustments to the regular program that is reasonable and responsive. So for instance, a school might provide a larger desk or allow a student to use a private elevator. They could also allow frequent trips to the bathroom during class time, or like with the case of COVID, students that needed to were allowed to take classes online or even test in a private area away from other students. So if you have questions about Title IX or about temporary accommodations, you can always contact the Student Disability Services office on your home campus, and we will be more than happy to assist you.
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate that. All right. Next section is pretty important. So if you would please pay close attention to what Darla has to say. And after that, we'll have a short period of time that you can ask some questions if you want to. So Darla, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's rock and roll.
Again, I am Darla Rush, and I'm at the Gainesville campus. So I'm going to show a slideshow that walks you through the steps to schedule an exam in our office. And that would be if one of your accommodations is taking your test in a private or quiet room. And I want to remind you that you should share your accommodations with your instructors before you ever submit a test request. You don't want them to get a test request from you when they don't even know you have accommodations. So let me see if I can get this started. To request a test appointment, go to the UNG website and simply type SDS in the search box to find the SDS web page. Click on the top search result. Once you are on the SDS web page, look to the left side of the screen and click on the SDS Test Request link. You will use this form to schedule or reschedule any exam that you wish to take in our office. All items marked with a red asterisk are required. Make sure you enter both your first and last name. your UNG 900 number, and your UNG email address. To choose your instructor, click on the small icon to the right of the box. Type your instructor's name, click on the search box, and you see that you may be given more than one choice. Choose your instructor's name and verify that you are choosing an email that is in the instructor and staff format rather than a student email. This directory only includes UNG instructors. Non-UNG Ecore instructors will not be found here. So for an Ecore exam, you may simply search for the test facilitator at the campus where you are taking your exam. Next, you will enter your course name. Just below the course name, you will indicate if you are rescheduling an exam. Typically, you will answer no. But if your instructor has changed the date of an exam that you have previously requested, you will answer this question yes, and give a brief explanation in the box below. Next, you will choose the date that you need to take your exam by clicking on the calendar icon to the right of the box. This typically should be the same date that the class is taking the exam. Before moving on, make sure you verify that you have chosen the date and day that you intended. You will select the campus where you are taking the class. For an online class, you can choose your home campus or the campus most convenient to you. Choosing the correct campus assures that the correct test facilitator gets your request. Here you will need to select the day of the week, making sure it matches the calendar date that you have chosen above. Once you have done this, if you have chosen the Cumming or Oconee campus, a new box will appear. When you click on the box, a drop-down list of test times will appear. Select the time that is closest to your class test time. If you have chosen the Gainesville or Dahlonega campus, you will simply type in the requested time. Typically, you'll need to take your exam at or near the same time as your class. Any situations that require you to take your exam at an alternate time should be discussed and approved by your instructor before you submit your request. As a reminder of this, there are a couple of questions that you'll need to answer when you submit your test request. If you are taking the exam at the same or overlapping time as your class, you will answer yes and then choose non-applicable where it asks if you have the time approved by your instructor, since no approval is needed. An example of an overlapping time would be when you request an appointment for 9 a.m., but your class actually begins at 9:30. You might need to do this if you have another class at 11 following this class. You would do this to ensure that you allow for your extended time. It is acceptable to have your extended time before your exam. Your instructors typically would have no problem with this, but if you will be routinely beginning exams at a slightly different but overlapping time than your class period, please call attention to this when you are providing your instructor with your accommodations. If you must take the exam at a completely different time, you will need approval from your instructor. This might be necessary if you have missed an exam due to sickness. It might be necessary because you have back-to-back classes, or perhaps you have an evening class and you need to take your exam during our open office hours. Make sure you discuss this with your instructor so that you can answer yes, that you got approval. Do not skip this important step of getting instructor approval. In the comment section, it is helpful to remind the instructor of your discussion. I wanted to pause it here. There are a couple of things that it did not go over. So you need to keep in mind when you're choosing a time for your exam that you need to keep in mind our office hours when you're choosing a time. For example, if you have a 2-hour class test that starts at 3 p.m. and you have time and a half as your testing accommodation, then you would need to allow 3 hours for that exam. You would need to begin the exam no later than 2 to 2:30 since the office closes at 5:30. Another thing that wasn't mentioned is that you must request your appointments for regular tests and quizzes 4 or more weekdays in advance, if at all possible. Advanced scheduling allows the instructor time to deliver your exam to our office, and it allows us time to contact you if there is a scheduling problem. And because of the added testing demands during finals exams must always be requested at least 2 weeks in advance. We will need to know in advance if you require a computer or special technology to take your exam. You may need a computer to type your answers to an essay test if you have that accommodation, or you may have the screen reader accommodation where your test is read to you. If you have Dragon or JAWS as an accommodation, you will need to come for an appointment before your first exam to set up your voice profile. Regardless of your accommodations, you may be taking an online test. In that case, you would let us know that you need a computer to take your exam. Notice that you may choose more than one option. If you have no need of any of these, please choose the first box. You must select at least one since there is a red asterisk. And finally, in this area, you may leave any other comments for your instructor or test facilitator. This is a good place to remind the instructor of a specific item allowed for testing, such as a formula sheet or a word bank, anything that is approved for your exam per the instructor or per your accommodations. When you are finished filling out the form, don't forget to scroll down and hit submit. You should get a pop-up message that says your request was successfully submitted. If you receive a pop-up error message instead, please go back and check to see that every question is answered that is marked with an asterisk. So I wanted to pause again here and just say that your instructor and your test facilitator at your campus both receive your test request. And the instructor will also receive an automated reminder just a couple of days before your exam. But if you would like to give them a courteous reminder by email or in person, that would be fine. And I actually would suggest that you do that. Then on test day, please be on time for your appointment. And if you are going to be a few minutes late because of parking or traffic or whatever the reason, just make sure you give us a call or send us an email as soon as possible. And if you must miss your test entirely due to sickness or maybe your disability, send your instructor an email as soon as possible and copy your test facilitator in that email to let us know. On test day, come prepared and ready to begin your exam. We will not have any space available in our office for you to sit down to review. Don't forget to bring your photo ID. Without it, you will not be able to take your exam. Please bring your mask and all items that your instructor has said you will need for the exam, just as you would if you were taking it in the classroom. Bring your pens and pencils, and if needed, a Scantron, Blue Book, or calculator, anything else that is needed for your exam. If you have a formula sheet as an accommodation, it must be provided to us by the instructor. Our office does provide all scrap paper needed. When you are finished with your exam, you must submit all materials used, including your formula sheet and all scrap paper, used or unused. Okay, so it mentioned that you should bring your mask, and that's because the recording has not been updated. You don't have to wear a mask. But if you would be more comfortable wearing a mask, you can also do that. As a quick review, remember you cannot request a test appointment until you have requested your accommodation notifications and provided those to your instructors. Submit your test request in advance, 4 weekdays for regular exams, 2 weeks for midterms and finals. Carefully fill out the form, choosing a date and time within our office hours. Let us know if you need a computer or any technology. Check your email often in case we need to contact you. Courteously remind your instructors that you are taking your exam in our office, and on test day, come prepared with everything that you need. Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Darla. That was well done. Of course, I like to remind everybody, if you're having problems filling out that form, it can easily get complicated. Feel free to contact your SDS office at your home campus, or whatever, and we'll help you out the best we can. It can be overwhelming if it's your first time doing that, and trying to remember everything about it. And hopefully everybody's had a chance to do it. Well, we're pretty early in the semester, so maybe not. One thing I wanted to clarify and make sure that everybody understands is that there's a difference between Ecore online classes and UNG online classes. That can be confusing to some students. Ecore classes is a University Systems of Georgia Schools initiative. So if you sign up for Ecore class, any professor that's in the USG system could be teaching that class. So somebody at Georgia Southern could be teaching that class, or UGA or Georgia Tech. If it's a UNG online class, only UNG online professors will be teaching that course. I hope that makes I made that clear as mud, I hope. Okay. Rachel, did you want to add anything right here, or did we want to open it up for questions if anybody had any general questions?
Let's see if there's any questions in the room. We've presented everybody with a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions?
So if, oh, pull up the chat. If you want to type it up in chat and put it in chat, I'll be glad we can read that to you as well. Yeah, definitely type the questions there or ask it. But let me give you a few minutes before I jump into my next spiel. If there's anything else. So hopefully we're helping with this information, and that your understanding is starting to click with you. Okay, so let me take this time real quick to do some reminders. Let's talk about your academic advisement. That is something that's not utilized enough, and that can make a big difference in you being successful or wasting your time or your money. So use your academic advisor. Do you know where to find who your academic advisor is? All right, if you go into Banner and look in the grades section, it should have who your advisor is. It should be in part of your major. If you're having problems getting in contact with your advisor, or if you need to get more information about advisement, we have the different phone numbers that you can contact at the Advisement Center and follow up with them. Do we have an advisor meeting with us today, Rachel? I don't think we do we?
No, we don't have an advisor.
Okay, so let me give you out the phone numbers real quick for the different campuses in case you need to contact your advisor or the Advisement Center. For the Oconee campus, it's 706-310-6365. Gainesville is 678-717-3791. Dahlonega is 706-864-1402. Cumming, it'll be 470-239-3128. I got a question on chat. This meeting is recorded. If needed, where can it be found? I believe everybody will receive a link to that. I'll check with Joe. If not, I'll make sure we'll get it out to everybody at the end. If not today, tomorrow. Help me remember that, Rachel. Good question. Very good question. But yeah, using your advisor effectively is going to make a big difference, and you won't be wasting your time or your money. I've seen many students lose a lot of time and a lot of money, miss their graduation deadline or their dates, and they don't want to do that. They want to help you out, keep you on track, and keep you not wasting your time, and that's the whole idea on that. Let me remind you also about CLEP testing, CLEP. I don't know if you're aware about these. And you use your accommodations. If you receive your accommodations through us, you can use it on your CLEP testing as well. Keep that in mind. So these examinations are usually done through the testing center, and you can take the examination of specific courses. It was created to help individuals with prior knowledge in a college course or subject earn their degree efficiently and inexpensively. And there's about 32 courses that it covers. They are computer-based, and they have 5 general areas and 29 subject areas that it covers. To take the examination, you have to have a government ID and this College Board student ID number or ID form. And the total cost for that is about $124, which is much cheaper than having to take a course. So if you're really good in a certain area and you feel like you can take an examination and fulfill those needs, certainly consider doing that. You have that opportunity, and it's that through the testing center as well. I compare this a little bit to the AP courses, that kind of thing, where you just take an exam and to go through that. Let me give you a quick rundown on the areas that it covers. It's the modern languages, 1 and 2, history and social sciences, American government, history of the United States, human growth and development, introductory psychology, introductory sociology, science and math includes your biology, calculus, chemistry, college algebra, business, financial accounting, information systems, business law, and composition and literature would be American literature or analyzing and interpreting literature itself, and also college composition. Contact your testing centers if you want any more information about CLEP testing. It's CLEP if you want to look it up to get more information on that. On the Oconee campus, the number is 706-310-6308. Gainesville, that'd be 678-717-3863. I feel like I'm on the radio here. 678-717-3863. Dahlonega, 706-864-1799. Blue Ridge is 706-946-5460. If you want any of that repeated, please feel free to type a message or just ask. Let me tell you about one more thing, and that's Nigel Cares. It's a free 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day a year mental health support resource for UNG students. The number is 833-910-3368 if you need more information. If there's an issue, you feel like you need support for mental health issues at any time, if you need connections into the next steps of going to counseling. I know we have somebody coming in a little bit later to give us more information about counseling, but if you feel like you need to go into, need help now, that's a good place to go. It's a no-cost telehealth. You already paid for this, so you might as well take advantage of that. And you end up with doing in-person treatments if you wanted to. And it's provided by a network of licensed clinicians, and it's staffed 24 hours a day. I see that Dr. Hill Harris did put that on the connection on that, and that is an important link. That's an important thing for our students to have. College can be stressful. Just knowing that support there can make all the difference in the world. So I don't see any more questions at this time. Usually we have it scheduled for us to take a quick break until 3:15 if you want to. Otherwise, I will hang on the line. Rachel, if you would hang on the line with us, and just in case anybody has any questions or anything like that, they can certainly ask. But also you can always contact our campus, or your SDS office there, or Student Accessibility Services office there, for any questions that you may have. Otherwise, we will reconvene it in 10 minutes, it looks like. Yeah. Rachel, I like your backdrop back there, UNG.
Oh, thank you. It's also important to note that all services are kept separate and confidential, especially counseling services. We're not connected to those resources.
Right. I used to have a backdrop with Nigel in the back, but for some reason it was flipped. And so I had to take it down. It didn't look right. It looked backwards, GNU.
Oh, I guess that's mine.
Like I was in the mirror.
All those Zoom classes and working remotely, sometimes at home, you know.
Oh yeah, that makes
I just
a difference.
kept it.
Hey, Thomas,
Yes.
Am I allowed to speak?
Oh, of course, everybody's allowed to speak.
It just kind of come to my mind about the legislative requirements. I don't know if testing actually goes over that. I know in the past that a lot of students maybe at the end of or fixing or trying to graduate and they have not satisfied those legislative requirements. And they're trying to get them all at one time. And of course, sometimes it has hindered them from getting their certificate. So I don't know if that's something that we need to bring up or not. I know in the past one that it's not been talked about very much.
Right.
And I do know they can take some CLEP exams that will satisfy one or two of them. And
Right.
if they take a certain class, it will satisfy all of them. I think there's two classes, maybe political science and one of the histories that may, I was trying to look that up. I just know that when I did work in testing, that was, we noticed that with a lot of students, they didn't know anything about the legislative requirements.
Yeah, I remember that. The history major requires that. I know. And I think it's a constitutional class.
You got Georgia history. You've got 4 different ones that you have to have before you can actually graduate.
Right. And so if you're a history major, please
Thank
talk
you.
to your advisor about what those are so you can make sure you got
And
those covered.
Political science too. Well, I think if you take that class, one of those classes, it will handle it. I know there's 1 or 2 that will take care of all your history requirements. I'm just
Right.
not sure which ones it is.
Right. And I'm trying to recall myself and I can't remember exactly what they are. So yeah, please.
I was trying to pull that up.
Your advisor would certainly know that what to do on that. Just make sure you follow up with them on that. It should be part of the program of study when they review the classes that they're required to take, part of their major.
Here it is. It says the requirements for instructions for in the above areas can be met by satisfactory completing one of the following courses at either UNG or at another university. In the University System of Georgia, it's the history 21. I don't know how to get that over there.
Is that a 2120?
2111 and 2112 or political science 1101.
I'm trying to remember. The 2112, I believe, is a history of religion.
I don't know.
Oh, you got that. You got that. Very good. You got
Okay.
that. There.
Candace done that for me.
Oh, very good. Thank you, Candace. Yeah.
I just happened to think about that. And like I say, they may already know about it. I just know in the past that some students have been oblivious to what all that is.
Right. Right. And that does make a difference. You don't want to have a stressful situation at the end there. College is stressful enough.
Can you see the screen that I put up, the student affairs?
I can. It looks like
Just
somebody
check.
running on the beach where I need to be.
I can't see it.
You
No,
can't
all I
see
see
it?
is the beach.
Oh, there. Yeah, all I see is the running on the beach.
Yeah. Are you saying that's where we need to go?
I would like to go there.
Yeah, me too.
Can I add something else in? I know we were talking, or Darla and Norma were talking about testing. But at one point when I think Rachel was mentioning, make sure you read your syllabus and start getting organized because it's going to be so different from high school.
Right.
If they haven't become familiar with Microsoft Office calendars or Google calendars, you can set alerts, and it's very important not to just put the date that something is due. You need to put breaks along the way so that you make sure you remember to get started on it and know that it's coming up to be due, because you don't want to show up on the day that your paper's due and go, oh gee, I haven't even started.
Yeah. I think one of the people that are speaking a little bit later is the academic coach, and hopefully they'll review a little bit on the organization and breaking down projects down into little sections. I know a lot of students wait last minute, and that's not very productive for them. That gets you caught into some trouble sometime.
Can
Can you guys see my screen now? The student affairs? Much better? No more beach?
I have one person asking a question about what time will we be receiving our UNG schedules for our classes. I am assuming that you're not taking a summer class, but usually you receive those registered classes or those registered classes starting during your orientation that you have, which is the big orientation. If you haven't scheduled your orientation, go ahead and do that now. But I'm assuming you're talking about the fall classes, and that's fine. But when you do your orientation, you will receive your start of your scheduled classes then. Summer classes already started this week. So hopefully if you're not talking about, especially the first Maymester, if not, then we probably need to talk to your advisor about switching classes somewhere because they started on Monday. This past Monday. Now, remember, we do have a holiday this coming Monday. I'm sorry about that, Rachel. That was a good question. Any more questions before we have a moment of silence? We've got about 2 more minutes, so. Rachel, are you doing the career service one?
Sure. We have a guest speaker coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just thinking, preferably we like to meet with students before the start of any semester,
Yes.
right? So you can get your accommodation started or set up, preferably the first week of classes.
Mm-hmm.
And also accommodations cannot be retroactive, right? So you
Right.
can't take a quiz and then decide and not do well and then decide that you need your extra time. Yeah.
And that's vital.
Yeah.
It is vital because the professor won't know about your accommodations until you give them the accommodation notification, either through electronically, email, or whatever, or in person. And so they're required to provide the accommodations from that moment on. They can't go back, like Rachel said.
Okay, it's 3:15 now, so hopefully everyone's getting back. UNG has a variety of great resources that are available to students regardless of diagnosis or disability. We'd like to encourage you to use your resources as much as possible. In spirit of that, we've invited some representatives from other departments to come and tell you about their programs. So first up, I believe is David.
Yes, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. My name is David Mishner. I'm with the Office of Student Involvement, and I'm gonna share my screen, put a little PowerPoint together. All right, does everybody see that? All right, so our office, we provide co-curricular activities such as student organizations, leadership development opportunities. On our top slide here, that's all our social media handles. So please look over that. Where to find us? So we're located on 4 out of the 5 campuses currently. The Cumming campus, the Dahlonega campus. We're on the Hoag Student Center 4th floor. On the Gainesville campus, we're in 303 Student Center, and Oconee campus, 508 Student Resource Center, and Blue Ridge has their own variety of events that they put on. So what is student involvement? So a lot of people want to know what is student involvement. So it's ways of getting engaged on campus. So our expertise is student organizations, which that's pretty much what most of my job is about. Weeks of welcome, which I want to get into. Weeks of welcome is the first 2 weeks of classes in the fall. That isn't how you really get engaged with your fellow students, get the friendships, all that good stuff. UNG Connect, I don't know how much you've gone over UNG Connect today, but that's something that's really important to get involved. That's our online platform. Student activities, service projects, leadership programs, fraternity sorority life, and then student government if you want to get involved with student government on campus. Student organizations, this is our categories that we base our organizations into. So we have our academic-based organizations, our faith-based, our honor societies, our leadership, our multicultural, which comes out of our MSA office, performing arts and publications, special interest, and then sports clubs, which is our recreation clubs. So why is this important? So what's so important about this is connecting with other students. So you get to meet people, you make a large community feel smaller, you explore, discover. And one thing I try to tell students is really important is building your resume. So when you're in school, your extracurricular activities is really important to build your resume up. So how you stick out from the rest of your fellow students. So I always tell students, like, what is your brand when you come to college? So figure out what is your brand. Like Nike has their swish, McDonald's has their logo. What is your logo? How are you going to stand out from the crowd? And part of that is extracurricular activities. Students who get involved on campus have higher GPAs than students that do not. So we try to tell students, please get involved. And that first 2 weeks is critical during weeks of welcome. So we have a lot of fun activities coming up for weeks of welcome. We're still kind of putting that together right now, but I kind of have a couple of dates I was going to give you in a second. So, and also we have our virtual student life, which we're still doing. And it's good for your overall mental health. It's get away from academic side of things and think about all the fun things you can do. So why should I join? Again, we kind of mentioned that, making new friends, gain leadership skills, your resume. One cool thing our UNG Connect system has, it creates your own extracurricular activity transcript. So it basically, when you get involved in UNG Connect, you join clubs, it kind of maps out your, almost like in a resume of all the activities you've done. So you could print that out, take it with you, attach it to your resume, and go job hunting if you want to, or get an internship or something pretty cool. So that's something that's really awesome that we do. And how do you get involved? You pretty much get on UNG Connect, you meet with me out of my office if you would like. I'm located in the Gainesville campus. We have people in the Dahlonega campus. I was in Dahlonega for 2 years. They just now moved me to Gainesville. This is my first week in Gainesville. So if you're going to be a Gainesville student, please seek me out and get involved as well. These are some of the weeks of welcome events we have. The big ones. Nighthawks Fest, that is our student organization fair. So if you want to get involved in a club and you're like, I think I want to get involved, I'm not really sure what I want to do, go to that. We'll have tons of different tables for your campus. So if you're on the Oconee campus, you'll have a Nighthawks Fest. If you're on the Dahlonega campus, Gainesville, Cumming, all that stuff, there'll be a Nighthawks Fest, okay? And then we have our Greekapalooza, which is our the following day for fraternity sorority life. If you want to get involved with that, it's kind of like an information session on all what you need to do with that. So that's kind of what I have for Office of Student Involvement, because I only had 5 minutes. So I try to do it really quick. What I did do though, I have a brochure I was going to put in here for y'all to, if you would like to print it, something like that. I kind of put something together. So let me stop sharing and let me get you the brochure here. So any questions about anything? Nothing? Okay. Trying to think how to.
It's a quiet crowd.
Hey, it's all good. I completely understand. Yeah, I could talk for 30 minutes about this, but I knew we only have like 5 minutes to kill, so I didn't want to. But I will let you go. Then I will put this my thing in there. So I actually even have questions and answers. I was going to like do questions and answer them for people. So I was totally prepared. So however we wanted to take this conversation. So
he had a script.
Yeah, I had a whole thing. I had the PowerPoint. I had this if we needed longer time. So whatever we needed. So but I'll upload this for you so you can have for for
There was a
students to
question,
do.
can you post your email? Somebody
Yeah,
said-
for sure. Yeah, I'll put it right in here right now. And I have an open door policy in Gainesville. So if you're like pop in, you're like, hey, I need to talk to David, my door's open, come on in. And if not, we'll set up an appointment. So
Yeah.
any other questions? Anything like that? We do have some fun events coming up in the fall. I mean, one big thing that weren't able to do last year is we do a big concert they do on campus in Dahlonega. We're bringing that back. I'm in the middle of negotiations right now, so I can't really tell you who we're probably going to get, but we're in the middle of a bid right now with making that happen. So I'll let everybody know. So we do a big concert. We're also doing some other really pretty big events coming up. And there's another secret event we're doing possibly the first week of classes. Dr. C's kind of behind that, so with me. So I'm kind of figuring that out. So I'll probably share that, Thomas, at the next SAC meeting, but once I get the go ahead. So.
And also we're having our big fireworks in August, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. Over here, we're having a big firework display over in Gainesville. That was gone for a year. They're bringing that back. And that was kind of what I was going to talk about in Dahlonega. They're going to do something kind of similar.
Right. Starlight
as
Festival.
well.
Yeah.
Starlight. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're going to have inflatables at Starlight. That's kind of, I don't think they're rolling with that still, but everything else is going to be there with the food and the fireworks and stuff.
That makes sense. Good deal. All right.
All right, cool.
Thank you, David. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate y'all.
All right.
Thanks for everything y'all do.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. I don't have my schedule in front of me.
It's my turn, right? The career services?
Yes, sir, it is. You are right on time.
All right. Did you see my slide?
We did.
All right. So, well, let me welcome all the students. My name is Everett Lai. I am the Associate Director for the Career Services, and I welcome all of you. Welcome to UNG. And I know that you are going to be getting a lot of very important information. So I know that when you have so much information, sometimes we just feel overwhelmed. So I don't expect you to remember everything that I say, okay? But if you want to come to visit us, or whenever a time that comes to your mind, hey, I want to check out career services, we welcome you. Either come to our office or use the website, okay, ung.edu/careers to check out all our information, or call one of the 3 phone numbers. We have an office in Dahlonega, one in Gainesville, one in Oconee. You are free to call each of those phone numbers to set up an appointment with us. Okay, even though you are, for example, your primary campus is in Blue Ridge or Cumming, you can still set up an appointment with us. We can do a virtual Teams appointment with you. All right. So if you don't remember anything I said, don't worry. Remember this web address and the phone number. That's all you need to know. Okay. Now, let me share with you. Now, some of you probably will come in as a freshman, as a first-year student. So you may be still exploring your major. We love you. We want to talk to you. Okay. So whenever you have time, schedule an appointment with us. We can give you a very good self-assessment you can do online. Once you do that, they will assess you in 5 different areas of you. For example, your passion, your skills, your personality, all those things. And once you've done that, it only take about 5 to 10 minutes to do each of those assessments. Once you finish them, you click the results section. They'll give you a number of suggestions that match with your profile. So if students take it earlier, this assessment, I guarantee you it will save you maybe 1 or 2 semesters of your time. Okay, so take it, and then you want to schedule an appointment with us, then we can go over the results with you. That can help you to finalize the list that makes the list of majors or career that makes sense to you. Okay, that's one thing I really want you to think about it. Now, someone tell me that, Edward, I already know my major. I want to be this, I want to be that. But what type of jobs, what type of career that you can think about? Actually, for example, now you think about business, you think about psychology, you think about, for example, language. All those are good majors, but there are tons of jobs available in those majors. So how do you choose? Okay, I would suggest you that you come to visit us. We'll help you, assist you to explore different majors. We'll help you to look at what are the resources available to you. Okay, maybe there's a person, an alum, or a professional that you can talk to and get some good information that you can help you to look into more deeply about it. Okay, so those we call explore your careers. Now, for example, hey, which one give me a better salary? Or which one give me a better job security in the future? So we can help you to research those data. So you end up with some very important data before you make your final decision. Okay. Some of you may be, okay, I know my major, I know my career, I'm going to be finished in 2 years and 4 years, I'm going to step into that career. Congratulations, if this is what you really want to do, okay? Then we can help you now to think about how to secure a job. Could be a part-time job, could be a full-time job, could be an internship. Now, how do you secure? One of the things is that they will have you to apply to them. Job application means that you need to have a really good resume to impress them. So we have students, we work on almost daily to look at the resume, give them feedback, and help them to know how to write a resume that will impress their future employers. Some of you may be thinking about, hey, I want to have an internship. I want to have some job that is closely related to my major. We have 2 internship coordinators in our staff. They are very good. They can help you to assist you to find the internship that makes sense to you. Okay, how to find jobs? Now, some of you may be looking for part-time jobs or on-campus jobs, off-campus jobs, full-time jobs. No matter what, we have a good online job posting board called Handshake, which we use it for college students and for college grad. So this is a good one. You can sign in and then you can use it anywhere you want. Okay. And if you need some more information, make an appointment with one of us. Okay. And also later on, sooner or later, when you go for a job hunt, they'll ask for, hey, we like your resume, we want to talk to you. That means that they want to conduct a job interview with you. Okay. How do you present yourself? How do you answer some of those tough questions? Hey, tell me a little bit about your weaknesses. Okay, tell me a little bit about how your previous boss, how they evaluate you. Okay, why you want to apply to my company? Why should I choose you? So some of those tough questions, if you prepare, and then we can do a mock interview with you. That means we practice interview with you. You'll be ready when you really go into the interview room, and then you can impress them. Okay, so mock interview is a very valuable service we provide. Some of you may be thinking about grad school later on, or right now you may already think about grad school. So we can help you, for example, pick the right school to apply, what is the application process looks like, and all those things. And also, they may have asked you to write a statement of purpose. How do you write that? Okay, so we can help you on all those things. And if you are not sure which question that you have, as long as it's career related, major related, come to us. Okay, just go to our website, or go to call us, or just stop by any of our office. We'll be here to help you. All right. let me stop here. I know that I'm already over my time. So any questions I can answer you at this point? All right, we look forward to meeting you, to talking to you in the near future. All right, thank you for your time.
I think I am next.
If I know how to stop the, okay, how do I stop it?
It should be a little red button that says stop sharing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I found it. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, students. Let me find my presentation here. My name is Jean Cyprian, and I am with the Student Money Management Center. Our department is a really cool department in that we help you keep money in your pocket. So I'm going to talk to you about some ways that we can help you understand how money works. The Student Money Management Center, our goal is to help create a financially independent student body. One of the things that we do is that we want you to understand that all of your spending is interconnected. Decisions that you make once you are here, whether it's changing your major, or dropping classes, we want you to understand those implications as it could be a financial implication. So we want you to understand how that's going to impact you. And we also want to help you create a financial survivor plan for you. You can do that with one of the staff members on campus at Gainesville or Dahlonega, or we have money mentors as well. And our money mentors can sit down with you and help you to understand what that financial plan will look like. I don't know how many of you have ever put together a budget. I can't see the chat room, but I would like to just say yes or no if anyone has ever put a budget together. And if somebody can tell me what they say, that would be great. Yes or no, just drop it. Yes or no, ever put a budget together?
Let's see here. No responses yet.
Okay. Just
yes, but the struggle is real.
Okay.
Yes, no, yes. To an extent, yes.
Okay.
Ish. ISH with a question mark.
Okay, I love it. I love it. So yeah, there are different reasons why a budget may or may not work for you. But I guarantee you this, if you sit down with us, we can help you come up with a plan to make that work for you. It could be a number of different reasons why it was a ish or why it was a kinda or sorta, but it is something that you want to be able to have and to utilize because it's not only for you during college, but the rest of your life. We also help you to identify how to go back and review that budget. A lot of times individuals, not just students, but adults that are taking care of themselves, families, they don't go back and review that budget. And so they may say, okay, this doesn't work because they didn't realize what they put down on the budget. They didn't track it. So we will help you do that. And that is a one-on-one consultation with us in the office. We help you plan for those expenses. You may want to make some different decisions than what you are with now related to your living situation. We can help you sit down and kind of plot that out to help you understand if that is a realistic goal right now, or maybe that needs to kind of be put back a little bit. I don't know if any of you have student loans, but we can help you understand, if you do, what that total amount is going to look like when you graduate. The last thing you want is to be surprised when you graduate that you've taken out a certain amount of student loans and you have no plan for it. So we can help you put together a repayment plan and help you plan really responsibly. And sometimes you may not need to take out that student loan just because it shows there that it's available to you. So we can really help you kind of understand that. Credit cards are trending for students in college, and that's good. but we can help you understand, is it the right time for you right now? Sometimes it's not. We talk to you about responsibly using that credit card and how it can help you with your credit report. So you just want to make sure that you're not hearing things that other students are saying, but that you truly understand what that is. So you can make an appointment with us. That appointment is done on a one-on-one basis. It's a private consultation with you based on you and your money information, and we can help you pull that together. We also have some things that are going to be going on campus. And we have presentations that are going to be occurring that I think you will find those really beneficial. They're going to be taking place on the Dahlonega and Gainesville campus. They're in a small group setting. Our first one is, where did all my money go? So that's a budgeting piece. A lot of people, want to know where I put a budget together, but I still don't know where my money went. So we will help you during that presentation understand what happened to your money. And that is again in September, Dahlonega and Gainesville. You can see that there. And then we have a presentation about credit and all the hidden fees. We talk to you about the implications of a credit card. We talk to you about the implications of how that affects your credit score. So it's a really cool way to get an understanding of what a credit report is, what a credit score is. We talk about credit cards in that presentation as well. You get to ask questions if you have any and get those questions answered. That's on Gainesville and Dahlonega, and that's going to take place in September. Identity theft and risk management. That is another event that we're doing in November. That's going to be in Gainesville and Dahlonega. You can see the places here and the dates. But that identity theft kind of talks about some social media implications of what can happen if you're not too careful, and how identity theft can hinder you in getting information stolen from your bank accounts and et cetera. You can be the millionaire next door. Who doesn't want to become a millionaire? But we talk about ways to do that. And that's basically kind of centered around savings and planning for the future. So we provide you with that information as well. So do join us. You can find these events on Ung Connect. I think someone mentioned that earlier. Ung Connect is a place where you can see those events. You can register and sign up to attend them. So the Dahlonega campus, you can call that number if you are wanting to connect with someone on the Dahlonega campus. The Dahlonega campus supports the Blue Ridge campus. Gainesville office, we support the Oconee and Cumming campus, and Dahlonega campus is located in the Stewart Center, the Student Stewart Center, and the Gainesville campus. We are in the Student Center. We're right across from the information desk. But you can email us here at smmc@ung.edu, our website, ung.edu/SMMC. You can also follow us on social media. We do postings of just kind of fun events and things that are going on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also have our money mentors who handle our another social media platform that you can be able to find some really cool events and those kind of things going on, and that's TikTok. So with that being said, if anybody has any questions for me, I'd love to answer them, but we'd love to see you. We'd love to connect with you. We'd love to help you, make you smarter with your money than you were before you came to see us. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if no questions, let me get on out of here.
Thanks, Jean. That was great.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Candace.
And next we'll have academic coaching. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear and see me okay? All right, good deal. So my name is Zach Thrift, and I am the academic success coach at the Oconee campus. But I serve students really, I think I've met with students at every campus but Blue Ridge. So with it being during the pandemic, everything virtual, I'm happy to meet with anyone via Microsoft Teams. Zoom is great. I had a student earlier today was like, hey, I don't have access to a laptop right now, and they really needed to meet with me. So I just called them and we had a meeting like that. So it doesn't really matter how we meet. If it's a service that I can provide and help you with, that's what I want to do. So let me tell you a little bit more about what I do. So as an academic success coach, I assist students with a variety of different things, from time management to study skills to reading comprehension, test taking skills, goal setting. That's a really big proponent of being successful in college, is setting goals. I'm a little bit biased towards SMART goals, so setting goals that are specific and measurable, attainable, realistic, time-based. So it works best to work with me over the course of a semester. I'm happy to meet with you one time, and if there's a specific issue that we can address, that's great. But we've seen that it's more successful when we meet over the course of the semester. So 3 or 4 meetings. You can just kind of base it around the time of the school calendar that gets stressful. You know, the first few weeks around midterm, before finals. These are the times that we know you have so much going on, but we think that meeting with us is beneficial. So there's a lot of different ways that I can assist you. I'm going to type in the chat a little bit of information, and you can copy and paste that so you have it. This is our website, so you can go there and get a little bit more information about academic coaching, the resources that we provide. There's a little bit of a bio about me and the other academic success coach, Patrick, who's based out of the Gainesville campus. Some other information that I want to include is just my email. Please reach out to me with anything. I tell students this, you know, even if I don't know the answer to a question, I will find out and I will follow up with you. So if there's anything you feel like, hey, could Zach help me with that? Just let me know, and we can work together and partner together to be able to assist you. The most important thing I can say is not necessarily even about what I do, but just encourage you to be proactive. When I meet with students, I always say, hey, let's be proactive instead of reactive, because everyone's tendency is to be reactive. Okay, this happened, so now I have to do this. But what you're going to learn in college, if you can be proactive, it can save you a lot of time and stress. I don't want to steal James's thunder. I think he's about to speak, but if you know you have a big English paper coming up, like, go ahead and schedule an appointment with a writing tutor. Don't wait and put it off and not work on it, and then you just get more stressed. And guess what? You still haven't made any ground on the assignment. So be proactive. Be your own advocate. And I know, you know, you're working with student accessibility services, and that's a great start, but don't let it end there. These resources are great and they're wonderful, but you actually have to take the step to reach out to us so we can assist you. So don't be afraid to do that when you're adjusting to college and everything that goes with that. So that's, again, my email address. I'm going to type in my phone number as well. This is my work phone. And then, like I said, I'm located in the Oconee campus in the Student Resource Center, which is the 500 building in the very back of the tutoring area. My office is back there, so you can't miss it. But I'm excited to be here, excited that y'all are beginning your journey at North Georgia, and am here to help in any way. So if y'all have any questions, you can let me know now, or feel free to reach out at any time. And Rachel or Thomas, is there anything that you guys wanted me to cover or elaborate on that maybe I didn't touch?
No, I mean, making an appointment with you is really easy on the website.
Yes, I'm glad you said that. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Rachel. Great. You can actually go to this website right here. It's successcoach.ung.edu, and it'll list my appointments time Monday through Friday, so you can schedule an appointment there. Or, of course, you can email or call to set that up as well. But thank y'all for your time, and I look forward to working with some of y'all in the future.
Thank you.
So next is tutoring.
You may be muted.
Mr. Howard.
There we go. Yeah, I'm sorry. It moved the bar for me to my other screen. I was trying to find it. Hello, I'm James Howard. I'm Assistant Director of Tutoring Services. and I'm here to talk today about tutoring. So basically, let me paint a situation. So it's long after orientation, it's in your second or third or fourth week of classes, and you're sitting in a math class and you realize I really don't understand what this professor is talking about, what I'm expected to do, what skill I'm supposed to be learning at this point. Or you're in English class and you have a 4-page paper that you know is coming due in a week, and you still haven't really figured out what you're supposed to be writing, how you're supposed to cite your sources, things like that. Or you get feedback on an assignment and you realize, oh, wow, I did not do as good as I hoped I would. What do I need to do now? So in all those situations, that's why Tutoring Services exists. So Tutoring Services is a place you can go to get help in any of the subjects listed here. So accounting, chemistry, math, physics, writing, and then other subjects on request. Sometimes we can find tutors in subjects like anatomy or biology. But basically you can come here and we'll work with you to answer any questions, any concerns that you have about an assignment, about a specific problem, about something that you know you're supposed to know. So there are several formats that we meet with students in. So we'll meet with you in person. I'll show you where our campus locations are in just a minute. So you can walk in and have a session. Especially with writing tutoring, we highly recommend you make an appointment through our website. But you can basically do the same thing, show up, bring a draft or something you're working on, and then talk through it. There are also online sessions. So you can meet with someone virtually and talk to them about a question or an issue and get help that way. And specific to writing tutoring, you can also upload a draft and get comments back on that draft. So if you only had a few questions or you were pretty sure what you needed help on and you just needed someone to flag issues, then that would be a really good way to get feedback as well. So in terms of our locations, on the Dahlonega campus, we're in Stewart in the Ask Center. So we have basically a math tutor set up there, and they can also direct you to other tutors. In Cumming, we're in the Student Resource Center on the 2nd floor. So there's a front desk there, and then we have a math and writing tutoring in that area. In Gainesville, we have 2 locations. So the ACT Center is in Watkins. So basically the big central area in Watkins, and that has math, physics, chemistry, and right now accounting tutoring. And then the Writing Center in Nesbitt 2103, where I'm at, has the writing tutoring. So we have a lot of writing tutors who work out of this location. In Oconee, the LTC is in the Student Learning Center. So if you just go further back beyond the cafe, you'll eventually hit the LTC, and that has math tutoring, chemistry tutoring, accounting, and writing tutoring. And then in Blue Ridge, basically we have an academic coordinator there who can connect you to either a math or a writing tutor. As well, our online options include WC Online for writing, which I'll type that URL in with the message I'm about to send out. Okay, ung.mywconline.com. And then for all other subjects, we do our tutoring in Microsoft Teams. And all the information for how to access that is on the website, so you can pretty easily, go there, track it down. But if you have any questions about, what we do a little bit further or how to access our services, feel free to email me. There's the Tutoring Services email here, which will reach someone, but you can also email me directly. And I've been known for pointing people to other tutors, but then also, I feel like I point people to one of the academic coaches. I pointed people towards career services and other places, or the career center. So yeah, feel free to ask if you have any questions.
Thank you.
I believe last is counseling, student counseling.
Hey.
Hi.
So my name is Dr. Kelly Cutrell. I'm the Associate Director for Student Counseling on the Gainesville campus. We have counseling centers on Dahlonega, Gainesville, Oconee, and Cumming. Blue Ridge, we use Dahlonega to go up there, or community resources. So there's going to be access no matter which campus you go to. It is free. And my mom says if it's free, she'll take 2. I'm like, well, that's pretty selfish, but it is free. It does not go on any academic record. If you are a client here, your services here are completely confidential. Your parents, unless you're 17 or younger, do not know. It, like I said, it doesn't go on an academic record. Your faculty do not know. We are in the Student Center here on the Gainesville campus. In Oconee, there's the main building. I forget what it's called, but it has the administration in there. At Cumming, there's one building, and it is on the 2nd floor. And Dahlonega is the Stewart. I don't know how familiar you are with the campuses, but I'm going to try to copy and paste our website into the chat. And this has for everybody. It also goes up. See, I can't do 2 things at one time. So let me just try to do this one thing and post right here. There we go. Okay. That is the link to our website. It talks about access to medication. We go through a new process now. We have Nigel Cares, and you'll see that on our website as well. It offers additional resources that maybe student counseling does not cover. Student counseling does not cover psychiatric medication. However, through Nigel Cares, we have access to that. So as long as you are a current student, you can have access to Nigel Cares, which has psychotropic medication resources. They also do online sessions. Currently, our centers, student counseling, we are doing virtual sessions. Now, come fall, we're going to be moving away from that, but not totally. But we're in the process of figuring all that out. So right now we are doing telemental health. It is confidential. As long as you are still in the state of Georgia, we can see you because that's where all of our licenses are. Every clinician in our center is a license, either at the master's level or the doctorate level. We do groups. Those kind of change each semester, but we are doing groups. What else can I tell you? To make an appointment, I know Rachel kind of brought that up a second ago. To make an appointment, you can contact your campus center. So if you go to that website I just put on there, then yes, thank you, Thomas, for putting that number up there. You can call the number associated with the campus you are on, and it's easy breezy. Just make an appointment. And then the intake appointment, that does have some paperwork associated with it. So we do need extra time for that. So maybe give yourself 30 extra minutes to complete all that paperwork. And then you will have the 50-minute hour that therapists love so much. Makes no sense, but it's 50-minute sessions. After that, you are already an established client. So you don't have to do all that tedious paperwork, but that is a must. We do crisis. If you find yourself in a crisis, you can come by the campus center. So that's another reason to go ahead and go on this website, look up what campus you're on, that center, where it is located. Most people, if you just ask, I need to get to the counseling center, you're going to find somebody that knows where that is. Okay. But we take walk-ins. Like I said, the crises, to us, a crisis is you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else. However, we also understand that that's not necessarily the only crises a student may face. So if you feel you are in crisis mode, drop by your campus center and we will do what we can. Rachel, you know anything else that I need to go over?
Did you mention your services were free or included?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And a lot of times students are confused about what we do, because in high school, the counseling center is more like a guidance center. We're not a guidance center. We have other departments that take on different roles that mimic the guidance counselor, like the career center. We do psychological services, mental health services, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety. Right now, as I am pretty sure you are aware, because it's all over the news, we're kind of in a mental health crisis right now. And those are the things that we address: suicidality, depression, anxiety, personality issues, relationship issues. Thomas, can you think of anything else I need to add to that?
It covers a lot of areas. And I think the key to all this is, if you feel like you need to talk to somebody, do it before it snowballs into something bigger. Anxiety, panic attacks. I've seen students have panic attacks and couldn't get out of their car, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you already paid for it. Use it.
Yes, you've already paid for this. So take advantage of that while you can. I have students that I'm seeing right now, they're like, I'm about to graduate and I'm nervous about how I'm going to have these resources once I graduate, because they won't be free out in the public. So please use it while you can. James, are you saying that's a clarification I wish I'd known as a student about the guidance versus the mental health part of it? Yeah. And it's just something that we hear a lot. So that's why I want to clarify. There are other departments that address some of those issues, like academic advising, career services. We strictly do the psychological aspect of your health. Now, kind of going back to what Thomas was saying, if you don't know where to go, just go somewhere. Come to our office and say, I don't know if this is where I'm supposed to be, but I was told if I had a question, I can come in. Our front desk worker is Betsy. She loves everybody and will help everybody. So if you know nowhere else to go, please drop by and just ask. Okay.
Perfect.
Is there anything else? Thomas, because once you do this, you kind of forget parts of what you're supposed to say.
Exactly. You already mentioned the groups and stuff like that.
Yes, and the crisis services. The groups will be advertised closer to fall. We have a grief group right now, but in the fall, we're going to have a different group. And each campus will have that.
And one thing I talked to them about really early in this presentation is that the habits that you develop in the first 2 or 3 weeks in your semester really dictates on how well you do throughout the rest of the semester and the rest of your academic career. And so doing the right habits and doing the right things and making the right connections and using the right resources makes the difference.
Yeah. And we're really trying to encourage help-seeking behavior.
Right.
Like if you don't even know what you need, maybe if you just go talk to somebody, they can help you navigate through that to figure out what that is that you do need. But if you don't even ask, that can create some stuckness.
Yes, it can.
So I'd rather you fumble through the wording of whatever it is to get to, this is what I need. Somebody will want to help you. We were all here because we want to help. So.
And I hope that's the message that we're getting across to everybody that's attending today. The resources are here, not just this department, the whole university as a whole, as a family. We want to see you succeed as a student. But you have individual needs, and those individual needs or concerns need to be addressed in order for you to have an opportunity to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Well, if anybody comes up with a question or needs anything clarified, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, go to our website. It's right over here. That's why I keep looking at it. And look us up and ask anybody that is under Meet Our Staff. Anybody under that category will be happy to help you.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank y'all.
So
the last thing is, should I give a quick
yes,
preview of D2l?
I know we're shooting, and it's all my fault. I apologize. I should have just been quiet a long time ago. But go ahead and finish up there, Rachel, and take us on that one.
Can you see? Let's see. Let's make sure. Can you see the UNG homepage here? Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we've covered a lot of information for you guys today, and we don't expect you to remember everything, or perhaps you missed this session, but you still would like some clarification on disability services or what UNG resources are available. We have an online course called D2l that you can take. You can log in and take 24/7 anytime you need a refresher. So here I am on the UNG website, right? I went over to Ask Nigel, another great resource, typed in D2l. I'm going to model for you, log in here. Thank you, Nigel. Now we're going to be taken to the D2l Pack Platform, right? This is, I am sure that at some point in your college career, you are going to have work assignments on this platform, right? Especially since we're all in kind of virtual land, a lot of student activities and assignments are being conducted through D2l. So to get familiar, to help you get familiar with this platform, we have created a D2l course for you. So here I am on the D2l homepage. You'll see right here, we have a disability services course for you, right? And it's not very long. It's about 4 modules, right? If you have never ever experienced D2l, this is your first time, we recommend that you start here with the start here, right? Start here. The first thing you want to do is you want to sign up and take the D2l tutorial. That is definitely worth it to take the tutorial now. That way, when you're in these classes and then the professor starts assigning work on D2l, you already are familiar with the platform and ready to go. So once you log in, first thing you should do is take the D2l tutorial, right? After that, you want to work through our student disability services modules, right? I mean, it's really quick. There's some videos, there's a quiz for your understanding, and if you still have questions, you can ask us on the board. Testing has also an practice activity, so you can practice scheduling a test, so it's not so overwhelming to you in a few weeks when you're going to be assigned tests in your courses. So if you miss something, need a refresher in a few weeks, this will also be available to you, like I said, 24/7. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay.
I think that no questions at this time, so I think that pretty much wraps it up. I want to thank you for sharing your 2 hours this Thursday afternoon with us. And as always, feel free to contact us and follow up if you have any questions. We're always here to answer questions. Don't forget, we have a holiday on Monday. Don't show up for class and be the only one showing up for class. But otherwise, feel free to contact us. All right. Thank you. And I appreciate everybody joining us today. Have a good one.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.